Right, it's a good afternoon, good morning, Molweni, Maskati. I don't know what time you're watching this video. I really hope, I'm thankful actually that you came to check us out on Taura Tinzwe again for another episode. And I think for the first time in history, people have been complaining, yes, too much testosterone, too many men. Well, we have listened, and here we go. We have the first woman to feature on the show to talk about issues of fathering. And welcome very much, Siwe.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you for the invite. I feel honored to be a part of it.
Perfect. And I think it's something that when we first met, you were kind of arranging an event on fathers and sons. And I've been doing a lot of talking, I've been doing a lot of research, I've been doing a lot of engagements that involve fathers and sons. Hence, of course, the most exposure to the male species, particularly with this regard. But what really struck me is that you, as a woman, were running an event and planning an event where fathers and sons would come and spend the day together. Where did that passion for you come from?
All right. So I grew up having a very imperfect yet beautiful relationship with my father. He has always poured positively over my life up until now. Really, I'm married, but the impact I think that fathers have over their children go a long way. I also feel like fathers are able to go deeper without making an effort. So for me, I just wanted to share a little bit of what I have personally experienced with my own dad to the world. And if people are struggling maybe with abandonment, or they're struggling to communicate, like a father struggling to communicate with their child, or the child is unable to have a relationship with their father, to know that as long as he's still alive, you can be able to make that bond stronger. And if you already have that relationship, to continue, to pour into it, because I think there's nothing more beautiful than continuing on showing love and positivity.
Yeah. And you mentioned there that you at least had an imperfect relationship with your dad.
Yes.
I think it's something that I would say at least you're in the privileged few, because the stats currently say that about 6 out of 10 South African kids grow up without a father in the house, without a male figure that can mentor and be a father to them. So at least you had a dad. But tell us more about the imperfection. What are the things that potentially you loved from that, and what are the things that you potentially wouldn't like for your kids, for example, to experience?
Oh, my father was so strict.
Discipline, man.
Yeah, he's a strict man and straight forward person, but he does it all with love. And I think looking back, I would be in trouble I remember there was a time where I had a diary, boyfriend stuff, and I would get hidings. But because my dad also had there's 4 girls in the family, and I have 1 brother. I think he grew to understand how you respond to a lady, because men are naturally bold, and they look superior.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with a girl, I think that might frighten you as a girl. And I think along the way he learns he learns how to communicate with us.
With girls, yeah.
He learned how to discipline us with love, and it was still firm. He never compromised the values and principles that he wanted to teach us. But then you actually don't know that at that time. You see later on where you think that this type of love is a norm, up until you come across people. You hear stories of people telling you about the relationships with their fathers, and you realize that, oh wow, I've got a good thing going on here. I'm so blessed, and it helped me, to have such a father who was able to be firm, because it has made me who I am today.
So I think in hindsight, like you say, you look at this and you appreciate the level of relationship and communication and stuff that you had with your dad. And I think I must also confess that as a man, it is a bit difficult to understand the feminine side of things, especially when you have daughters. And I see, of course, you and your husband now have a daughter.
Yes.
Looking at the experience that you had with your dad, what are those things that you think potentially you are seeing in him being a father to your daughter as well? That you
Yes.
say, hey, when that's a girl, you know.
Yeah.
What are those things that you're picking up in this kind of setup?
You know, I think parenting has no manual, and we are living in different times. It would be unfair to compare, but I think, you know, also for me, I say a lot of, I can compare my father and my husband as well, because by virtue of my dad being there, he's a very responsible person, and I saw that those qualities in my husband. And when I look at my husband and my daughter, oh gosh, my daughter has my husband wrapped around like his little figure.
Sure.
It's so beautiful to watch. But at the same time, I think maybe if I can. If I have to compare my dad and my husband, is that I think when it comes to just when we speak as mothers, we speak a lot, you know, we speak a lot and we reprimand a lot up until they don't really take our voices seriously.
Sure.
My father doesn't have to talk a lot, but when he disciplines, he speaks once, and then it feels real, because he doesn't speak all the time. And that's the same thing I see. Like I can tell my daughter to stop doing this and that, but the father just has to say it once, and it breaks her as well. I'm like, but I don't have that power over you, you know. And so I think there's something about fathers that is, you know, it's simple. It's so simple. You don't have to pretend much with your kids, as long as you are there.
Sure.
I feel like it is the role of a father is as important as a mother.
Sure.
It's just as equally important, because there's so much I can see that my husband does to my daughter without even trying, that I can't do as a mother, yet I birthed him.
Sure.
And you know, when he speaks, he commands the attention, and you know, when he does something for her, she will be so excited, and she will say, my father is the best, and I can do the exact same thing, you know, but I don't get the same response. So
I think with that, I can tell my wife, she's probably going to be watching this, that, hey, it's happening in every other family now. Because that's exactly what happened with my daughter.
Yeah, don't be jealous.
You know, when I speak, you know, versus when my wife speaks, we can really say the same thing. But she'll probably be more hurt because I said so than because I'm upset. So I think it then goes into the psyche, I think, within this father-daughter relationship. And seeing the beauty of that, of course, I think we're privileged to have that with our, you know, our families going forward in the next generation. But you've been in touch with a lot of ladies, and some of which I assume potentially would have not had that kind of relationship with their dads. What are the things that you think they missed out on so much that you see in them, because you're doing this potentially?
I think, you know, one of the things that I can say is that when you don't have a father, you lose your self-confidence and your what is it called, your identity in a way. You know, just by virtue of him being there as a man, that already speaks protection. It speaks, you know, I mean, I think even for boys, I think all boys ever want to hear is your father affirming you and telling you that you are doing such a great job, I love you, you know, those things that affirm you as a child. And I think in the absence of a father, you don't know who you are. You can have your mother there, but your sense of being and your sense of self-worth is questioned. Then you find yourself trying to, mostly girls, it would be trying to date, and sometimes you'll date even an older man because you think you think that's what you want. You hear a man saying they love you, and because your own dad never told you that, and that's what you actually need, and it's a void that you want to fill. You end up falling for the wrong people,
Yeah.
because they will flash money, and you find if you had taught your child that money is not everything,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you take them out, you buy them clothes, they will realize that, oh, actually this is not love. It's what it's what I'm worth anyways.
Yeah.
So because the father is absent and has never been there for
Yeah.
you end up making the wrong decisions. You end up attracting the wrong people as
Sure,
well,
sure.
because you just want to fill this void that was never filled.
Right, you touch on a very important subject there in terms of the identity building that needs to take place between a father and their children. It's a very important thing. It comes out very strongly as well in the book that I wrote from the guys who are speaking about how their identity is actually shaped by what they see in their fathers, what their fathers say to them. Now, you also have an event, I see, for speaking about this, taking out of girls and showing them that actually money is not the center of the world. You had an event just earlier this year about having fathers and daughters, where I came with my daughter, and there was a lot of fathers and daughters there as well.
Yeah.
Is this all part of what you're trying to do then, to try and emphasize on that and to build girls to be confident in who they are and
Yes.
to get their identity and to know that a man can take you out and that is actually normal without expecting it?
Yes. Okay, so I host events for fathers and daughters separately, and for fathers and sons as well, because we can't leave out the boy child. But definitely I believe that we, especially in our culture, you hardly see a man, like the father and a daughter, going out, just the two of them.
Yeah.
In fact, when you see such a thing at the mall, I can't actually at this age, if I were to go to the mall with my father holding hands, people
Yeah.
would think
It's a romantic.
it's my father, it's my dad, what is it called, sugar daddy,
Oh, yeah.
because the society is so messed up in such a way that it's unusual, it's not a norm to see
Yeah.
a father and a daughter just going out on a date. And for me, I feel like there's been a lot of negative stigmas going around. Men are trash, and we can't be oblivious to the fact that we are living in a fatherlessness nation. But
Yeah.
how can we make it better?
Sure.
Can we celebrate the fathers that are doing it right? How are we doing it is by these platforms that we have, that we are saying that if you are a father and you are proud, you have a child, it can be a daughter or a son,
Yeah.
take them out on a date. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
And make it a habit, because the earlier you start, because I think at my events I see kids as young as 2 years old, and then by the time you get to university, this thing for you is a norm.
Yeah.
By the time you meet the first guy that you love, you already know your worth.
Sure.
You already know that you're not going to be disturbed by anybody flashing money or gifts, because your father has already done it for you.
Yeah.
By the way, you don't even have to have money to take your kid out. You can actually just go to a park, buy ice cream, because all we need is
Yeah.
your time. All we need is time, and it makes such a huge difference, because there are a lot of fathers out there who are known to be baba bemal.
Yeah.
We understand, and I think that is where we have it wrong. It's good for you to provide for your kid, but there's something more that they need from you. We need to see fathers being able to watch the kids' soccer games, and unfortunately at a young age, all they ever talk about is kids boast about their parents. And can you imagine if you are that father who is never there?
Yeah.
Imagine how it feels for your child. There are 5 kids chatting about my dad.
Yeah,
Me and my dad were building this during the weekend. Me and my dad went out to do this. My dad was helping me with homework. How does that crushes the spirit of a child?
Sure.
Do you understand? Because that's all they talk about. They boast about their parents, and so I think it's so important for us to build in their lives emotionally in all areas,
Yeah.
actually, so that by the time they are able to make their own decisions, and you are not there, they will still be able to stand.
Very interesting. You put it there that our kids, us as kids, we're not really looking at dad bringing Isagale Mali.
No.
You know, we're not looking for him to be the most perfect and the most richest dad, but the time. Now I see that it comes a lot again strongly in the book that I wrote. You know, men say that, you know, I really would have wished I'd spent more time so we can just talk about things and talk about more silent aspects of life without having to just see him go to work and come back as if that's the only thing that he does. Now I see that in men, of course, we're not really emotional creatures. And for you who are girls, you know, who are very emotional, do you think it actually has that much of an impact then if there's an absence of a dad who is there and busy with the work so much that he doesn't spend time with the girl?
Yeah, you know, actually now that you say it, it's so important. Presence is so important because you can be there physically, but you are absent. You're an absent father. You're there physically, but you're absent. And I think this is the space that we need, where we have to communicate these things. I think we grew up where we can't really question our relationships with our parents, and I think now is the time that we have these conversations where it will be easy for either party, whether it's dad or child, to say, thank you so much for everything that you do for us, because I think that is the misconception that when you provide, and I know that for men as well, you know, providing is also a form of showing love, you know, but can we take a walk? I just need to find out how you feel about relationships, or, you know, I mean, if they're young, all they just want is to play. Can you play with me? That's all I want. And I appreciate that I see you, but I want to feel you. And I think it's so important. And also to speak life, you know, and speak love. It's hard for men to express themselves, but it does so much when your father says, I love you, I am proud of you, you are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. You know, you have it boosts your self-image. It increases even your confidence, and you know, you literally can do anything when you are affirmed. So it's so important to be a present, available father.
And I take that seriously what you said, because at the event that we came through, you had a affirmation and oath that we had to kind of recite to our sons, and there's a lot of things that you put in there about us being proud of them, but most importantly about us in that affirmative process telling them that we love them. Culturally, we know that it's a very difficult thing for black people, if I can put it like that. And I think more especially for you coming from a Zulu context, to hear ubaba ethi ngiyakuthanda, especially to his son, you know, potentially easier for a girl child, but more difficult for a boy child. Do you see this really taking place? I mean, I advocate for that. I write about that, and I really try to encourage men to do that. But are we winning this war to get to our fathers to be a bit more sensitive and understand that their kids want to be told that they are loved?
You know what, there's a saying, it's how do you eat an elephant one piece at a time. We can't change the past, because I think also our parents went through so much trauma as well, and they're learning, and so we are also learning, because what they did for us is that they made sure that what they wanted their kids to be better than them, and we are better, we know better as well. So by these events, how do we start changing it? Because if you remember, I think at the fathers and sons event, there was a father, we had like an anonymous letters written, and there was a father who said, you know, I'm on Father's Day, my son did not even tell me that Happy Father's Day. So I don't think it's the kids only that need that. Even the fathers, they don't say it, they also need that affirmation, and they also need that love. But then we need to learn, how can we do this, you know? We need to learn. It starts small, I mean bits by bits, and if you're willing, I think you just need to have the willingness. It doesn't matter whether you're a traditionalist or, you know, I think love everybody needs love.
Yeah.
Everybody needs love. And I think you can also attest that our kids also teach us a lot every single day.
That's true.
And therefore, I think if you're a parent, you should also be open to learning. It does not matter how old you are. So I think it is doable, one step at a time, by creating these platforms and hosting these events where we speak about these relations.
Sure.
and wanting to see positivity out of them.
Understandable. So I always end the interviews that I have with this particular question, and I hope you can also try and give us some weight to that as well, to say, if, imagine yourself, this video, for example, is going to be watched by everybody in the entire world, if everybody could hear this message coming from Siwe Matshisi, what's that one thing that you'd like to tell people out there that they should actually, in this context, try and take away from this whole conversation we've had today?
Family is so important. And I believe that if we have healthy fathers, heads of the houses, we have a healthy family. It's not a weakness to show love. It's not a weakness to love. I urge all the fathers and brothers out there to love their families, their daughters, their sons openly, so doing so their wives. And I feel like we all have a duty to uphold in society, and I think love covers all. So let us love each other. Let us make sure that we put our families first. We at the end of the day, when all is said and done, all you have is your family. So invest in them. Take care of them and continue to love each other, and then we will have a better world. Thank you.
Invest in your family, pay for yourself. Thank you very much, Mrs. Matshisi. I think it was a privilege and honor to have you on the show. And I think for everybody who was watching there, thank you for tuning in. It's another takeout from Taura Tinzwe. See you, catch you on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.